There's some great guests lined up this week. Hollywood star Rob Schneider's in tomorrow with Jerry Hall on Wednesday. The most fun you can have at 5 every weekday. It's Paul O'Grady.
Tonight, Jack Osborne, Jean Marsh and Simon Williams. Live from London, it's Paul O'Grady.
Hey up, folks. Good evening, you're right. I must explain, the reason the studio looks like this is because we're celebrating that classic series Upstairs and Downstairs. Do you remember it? Yeah! I'm supposed to look like Major Bellamy, but I look like a co-op undertaker, I think. I've come to measure your stiff, missus, yes. And apparently this is the original front door from the series. And since they filmed it live in Eaton Place, somebody's got no front door, have they? So that's easy to break in. Anyway, welcome. Buster's had a bit of rheumatism, but he's all right now, aren't you, Bust? Should we ring for the butler, Buster, to give you a rub? There you go. Thank you, Hudson. Come back, folks. But me and Jack have been inundated with emails during the ad break. If anybody wants the washing done, you know where to send it, OK? But you take it all off now and we'll wash it while you sit there. Please leave your vest and underwear on, though. Thank you very much. Now, the television series Upstairs and Downstairs is a true classic. Do you remember it, Jack, Upstairs and Downstairs?
I used to watch it all the time.
Just a lovely. And for 5 years, is that all it was, 5 years? It had a script as we followed the trials and tribulations of the Bellamy family and life below stairs with Hudson, Mrs. Bridges and the rest of the cast. It was a worldwide hit and it's finally available on DVD. And here to tell us all about life at 165 Eaton Square is housemaid Rose Buck, alias Miss Jean Marsh, and that cad, Captain Bellamy himself, Mr. Simon Williams.
So fantastic. Hi there. Hello. Good.
I have to tell you, Jean, Upstairs and Downstairs was the reason I wanted to go into show business. Because I've said this tale before, seriously, I was babysitting for my sister. Yeah. And it was when Pauline Collins did What We're Going to Do with Uncle Arthur. I thought, I could do with a bit of that myself.
And you don't mean Pauline Collins?
No. I mean the song, I just thought the whole thing... She's off the ball, Jane, isn't she? But it was your idea, the show, wasn't it?
Well, mine and Eileen Atkins.
Yeah.
Dame Eileen Atkins.
Oh, she's Dame, yes.
We were best friends and we created it together almost overnight. We both had parents who'd been servants and we wanted to make some money. So we thought we will use our servants' pasts and made what was originally Downstairs Upstairs, because we wanted it all to be downstairs. But then we thought of Simon, it had to be Upstairs, Downstairs.
Captain Bellamy.
Major to you, actually.
Sorry.
I got promoted, you know. They wouldn't give me a rise on the second series, but they said, we're thinking of making you a major. I went home really chuffed.
That was a mistake.
Yeah.
But he was a bit of a cad, wasn't he?
He was a sort of cross between Simon Cowell and the Prince of Wales.
Yeah. Because he did the dirty by poor Sarah, didn't he?
It was a heartbreaking romance, really.
Yeah.
In real life, I wouldn't have done anything like that.
Oh, really? I tell you, it must have been rotten, because my mum was in domestic service as well, and the hours and all that, and the conditions. Because the bedrooms that they lived in, no fireplaces, all the cast-off furniture from downstairs. Shocking.
Freezing.
The
attics were freezing and the kitchen was boiling hot.
Yeah.
And, you know, Pauline and I slept together, not off stage. I mean,
We've got something in common after all.
Bob-on. And people said, you know, why did you cuddle? And I said, it's not what you think. We were freezing cold.
Yeah.
Maids were freezing cold. Yeah, and long, long days. up at 6, black all greats was the first line one read in one's instructions.
God. Because there were two choices for women then, weren't there? There was domestic service, or if you didn't get married, or if you got sacked from domestic service without a reference, the streets. Which, of course, you probably did quite a lot to underhouse parlourmaids and outwork in Duke Street.
Streets or scrubbing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because Rose was tough in the series, wasn't she? She was quite hard, Rose.
I think she was.
Yeah.
I think all the characters, all the actors, all the parts varied a lot. We were never just tough people or sweet people. It was very well written by 14 writers, but it was very well written so that we could all explore all parts of our character. And I think I was very tough with Pauline, and then I was nice too.
I think you were one of the most moral characters, though. Your moral judgment was always yours, and Gordon Jackson as Hudson that was the judgment.
Because the whole what was going on upstairs was being aped downstairs by the servants, wasn't it? With the hierarchy, with the pecking order, and who served the tea. And
I think we were tougher downstairs about class than they were upstairs. The whole thing of the way you sat round the table and, you know, the
There was a great protocol to everything in those days. There's no protocol now. It's a good thing, isn't it?
What was filming like on that? Was it a relaxed schedule, or was it bang, bang, bang like it is today?
Well, it was actually, I found it very exciting. It's very unusual. We had about 10 days rehearsal, all to ourselves. And then on the last day, the crew came in to have a look at it, so they would know what to light and everything. And then we had 1 day in the studio. And it was made here,
in this very studio.
Was it made here?
Yeah.
So I'm in Mrs. Bridges' kitchen.
You could actually be there.
Please, I've died and gone to heaven.
And then we had 1 day in the studio, which was for the crew, which was a dress rehearsal, really. And then the next day, we had a run-through in the morning, and in the afternoon, we had 3.5 hours recording time. So it was very exciting.
I think one of the weirdest things was that it was all shot on the level. Considering it was called upstairs, downstairs, all the stairs were faked. So people would pretend to go upstairs, and then they'd cut the cameras, and someone would pretend to come down the other side. You know, it was all shot on the level.
Bear, can we have a little clip, please, as a treat? Please, put it in. Thank you very much. Let's say upstairs. Let's say a bit of quality telly.
Excuse me, sir. Mrs. Bridges wants to know what time you'd like dinner.
What, Rose?
Dinner, sir.
Oh. Yes. You tell Mrs. Bridges I shall be dining out tonight, Rose?
Dining out, so it's game pie. You ordered it specially.
Dining out, Rose. In Whitechapel. They tell me the soup is excellent.
Did you have actual rivalry between the cast, you know, between the upstairs cast and the downstairs cast?
I don't think there was in the working situation, but when we went to parties and award ceremonies and things, all the toffs would be given a glass of champagne, have our coats taken, and poor Jean and Sir Gordon Jackson and people would be left struggling to get their coats and get a glass.
It was true. And, you know, in this studio, you don't like me telling this story.
I hate this story.
But there are very nice dressing rooms here, and then dressing rooms with no windows. So the posh people, like Lady Marjorie, the actress Rachel Gurney, always got the corner dressing room with the window and free Kleenex.
Get a life. It still rankles on it all this time.
Is she still holding a grudge, Sheen? All these
Yes.
This poor woman's been dead for 5 years.
When we arrived here today, I said, I hope I've got a window in my dressing room. And I've got a lovely dressing room.
I've got no window on the other hand, but I'm cuddling Pauline Collins instead.
Do you know what I love? Because he started in the Edwardian era and went right through to the Depression. Nobody aged.
No.
Nobody aged.
Actually, in fact, quite funny, I did. I used to get grey.
You had a little bit of grey, that was it,
David
Simon.
Langton was there putting the brown on, and I was next door to him putting the grey on. We ended up looking like brothers, you know.
But Rose looked younger at the end when you did the whole thing, and then at the beginning because of the fashion, because the hair was shingled.
The problem was that they could, my own long hair, they could scrape up and make me look awful. Quite easy, probably, but when they made me the little bob to bring me up to date, I suddenly lost about 10 years, happily.
It's very hard to believe it's 30 years ago looking at you there.
No, you haven't changed a bit. See, that's what I said to you in the corridor, you haven't changed a bit. And when I saw you I was on the Eurostar. I was with my friend and I said, oh, this Jean Marsh. Oh, I've got to say hello. And I thought, and we stood right next to each other, just about to get off, and I didn't have the guts to say hello, how are you? In case you thought, who's this lunatic? Another crazed fan.
You will next time.
Next time I will, most definitely. But listen, it's back out on DVD. I've got them all on video, so now I've got to do the DVD.
Yeah, well, you get lots of extra chat from us, get all the gossip from us.
Yes, you get real hardcore gossip.
Oh, fabulous.
Yes.
Fabulous. This is not to be missed. This is strictly an under-counter job, this, when you go in your video shop. Can have upstairs and downstairs, please, with all the gossip from the cast. Listen, it's lovely to see you both, it really is, and thanks for coming on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Jean Marsh and Simon Williams. I can't believe this is where you filmed it. This is the set. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for tonight. A huge thank you to all my guests. To Mr. Jack Osborne. To Miss Jean Marsh. To Mr. Simon Williams. And to Miss Tracy Chappell. Tune in tomorrow when I shall be chatting to Deuce Bigelow actor Rob Schneider and singer Alison Moyet. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely night. See you tomorrow. Bye.
The news is next on ITV1. Then Val learns the identity of the stranger she met in the bar. It's not good news. Emmerdale's at 7. And later, Scylla prepares to cash in on the Quo. The first of 2 visits to Coronation Street at 7:30.